What is the purpose of philosophy? First of all, we should ask, is there any stated purpose of philosophy as such? Is there any objective, any purpose that has been traditionally accepted? But then we are also not sure about the purpose of human life. Okay. We can try to understand what philosophy helps us for. What do we gain by learning philosophy, or more importantly, doing philosophy? That's different. Okay. Learning philosophy is learning what other philosophers before us have said about certain issues, questions, problems, etc. We would be learning what are the questions that they raised. We'll be learning how they approached that question and what kind of solution did they provide, and how other philosophers critiqued such positions. This is what we will learn in philosophy, history of philosophy. But doing philosophy is different. Here we are invited to think on conceptual or practical issues. We are invited to think like the philosophers who lived before us, and to arrive at positions, our own positions. Okay, we are invited, we are challenged to subject our own beliefs, our own attitudes, our own practices to critical reasoning, and finally to arrive at positions which are rationally sound. So there is a difference between learning philosophy and doing philosophy. But don't think this is going to be theory class and practical class. No. While learning philosophy, the history of philosophy, reading philosophers, reading important text in philosophy, unconsciously we are learning the art of philosophizing. We are unconsciously incorporating the skill of philosophizing. So going forward, whenever we find a problem, it could be a social issue, it could be a political issue, it could be a moral issue, you are not going back to any of the philosophy text, you are not going back to any of the philosophers, but you will apply your mind. Similar way as Plato or Aristotle or any other philosopher applied his or her mind. So from learning philosophy, you have come to a stage of doing philosophy. Now, we will come back to our question. What is the purpose of that? What is the purpose of philosophy? If you ask me, what is the purpose of learning philosophy or history of philosophy? My answer is this. It is a training given to you in philosophizing. It is to make you capable of or enable you to philosophize. The question doesn't go away. Then, what is the purpose of philosophizing? I would say the bigger purpose of philosophy is to make you a good human being, is to transform oneself. How? This is not self-help kind of a training. Like we have so many books where different methods are given to us to improve our own personality. This could be one of them, like critical thinking is, of course, a way to improve our personality. But what does philosophy do? Philosophy is making us better human beings. How? Whom do we call a good human being? A virtuous person, a happy person. Whom do we call a happy person or a virtuous person? A person who has inculcated virtues, a person who is honest, a person who approaches issues rationally but with due respect for the emotions of others. One serious criticism for philosophy could be this: philosophy is too abstract, too rational, but the lived life of people are different from that. When it is a question about the future of a child, a philosopher could speak dispassionately without any emotion involved, and rationally, that person could be true. But if it is about my child, I'll have certain emotions attached, and I would not be able to talk devoid of my emotions. So, the lived experiences or my very practical life could be different from my rational life. That criticism is there, but then philosophy does not ignore that. There are schools of philosophy that are solely focused on these lived experiences of people. Even otherwise very abstract rational schools of philosophy, they also take they also acknowledge the emotions and emotional life of people. Okay. So we say philosophy makes people better human beings, and we ask who is a good human being. We say a virtuous person who has certain qualities of being honest, doing what is moral, approaching situations or problems without being biased, rationally, without being prejudiced. Okay, we say this person is a good human being, right? Now, how does that happen? People could become good human beings. The process of becoming a better human being, that could happen unconsciously, maybe because of our circumstances, maybe because of the people with whom we interact, maybe the kind of training that we receive, maybe the kind of life situations that we go through. These all could make us good human being. Okay, human beings with wisdom, practical wisdom, empathy for the emotions of others. Okay. So people who are honest, this could be a result of our life itself. But how does philosophy as a discipline assist us in becoming a good human being? That is the question. When you ask what is the purpose of philosophy, I would say this self transformation is the purpose of philosophy. And it doesn't stop there. Self transformation means social transformation. The world transforms. A person who is sympathetic, empathetic towards others, towards the environment, a person who is non-violent, a person who is understanding, will definitely add to the change of the society, change of the world. So, in a broader way, if we say the purpose of philosophy is the transformation of human race, the transformation of the world we live in. Okay. Now, how is this happening? How does philosophy help us, assist us in transforming ourselves? In the morning, we said philosophizing is an art, it is a training that we are given. How to approach issues, problems, or preconceived concepts, our own knowledge, our own body of opinions and beliefs with a critical mindset. How are we trained not to accept things that are told to us very easily? How we are trained to look at things that are told to us, things that we see in the world, the practices we see in the society, all with a critical nature of mind. We would analyze if these practices, these beliefs are sound, rationally sound. If not, what is lacking in them? What's the problem in them? This is what we are trained to look at. When we read the history of philosophy, we will know how philosophers identified problems with human practices, problems with human ways of understanding certain concepts. And slowly, unconsciously, we are also inculcating that way of approaching ourselves, that way of approaching problems in the world, problems in the society. Okay? And one important purpose of philosophy, or one important contribution of philosophy, is the assistance given in self-knowledge. One fundamental task of philosophy is self-knowledge. Self-knowledge would mean questioning myself. Who am I? What are my beliefs? What are my plans? What do I want to do in life? What is the meaning of my life? How should I be taking a position in social life? What should I be doing for the society? What position should I take on a social cause? What position I have taken now will also be critically evaluated. Am I doing the right thing? Am I thinking the right way? Is my belief, is my opinion on this case is true? Am I convinced? What information do I need extra? Okay. So we look at ourselves with a critical state of mind. We subject our own body of knowledge and beliefs and opinions to criticism. And that gives us ample opportunity for us to improve. One, we do not become dogmatic. Dogma is very much against rational attitude. It is imposed. It cannot be questioned. So, when we subject ourselves to critical reasoning, we become less dogmatic. We are open to change. When we look at ourselves, whether we are right or wrong, and when we realize, oh, sorry, I am wrong, we also have this interest to improve, change our positions. If we do not have that impulse to change, we will never question ourselves. The very moment you question yourself proves that you have this interest, this possibility of change. You are willing to change. That will make you less dogmatic. That will make you humble, because you realize you could be wrong, others could be right. And that would make you very, very humble. That would make you seeking after knowledge. That would make you a lover of wisdom. You would talk to other people. You would listen to them more than what you speak. You would read a lot more, because the problem is in front of you. You do not know what to do with it. So you would try to understand how other people have approached this problem, what other people have to say about this problem. Suppose you get a temporary solution to that problem, you again want that problem to be discussed. Take your position to others, subject those positions to criticism by others, so that you have the chance to improve your own position. This would make you very humble. This would help you to seek knowledge, wisdom. You have become a philosopher, a lover of wisdom. Wisdom means practical wisdom. What should I do in life? That's the question. What should I be doing in life? What is the purpose of my life? How should I behave in a society? What should be my approach towards other animals and other plants or the environment itself? What should be my position towards my neighbors? Reading philosophy, learning philosophy, and subsequently doing philosophy helps us in becoming better human beings. Human beings who are in control of themselves. That is important. Why do I say people who are in control of themselves? I mean free individuals, autonomous individuals. What is that? We do many good things in life. We help others, we respect others, we do a lot of charity. But why do we do that? Maybe we are trained that way. Maybe the society tells us to do that. Maybe we never thought why we do this. We are good human beings if you do all this. But think, are you free? You are doing because someone asked you to do, or one reason for you to be charitable, altruistic, is that you wish to go to heaven, or you wish to escape from the cycle of birth and death. So you are guided by a desire. What happens if tomorrow you come to the realization that there is no God, there is no heaven or hell? The theory of rebirth is wrong. These are all opinions. These are not knowledge. What would happen to your charity? What would happen to your good actions? If you get to know or you realize that there is no heaven, there is no hell, you are not going to have reward or punishment. Will you still be good? Because our purpose is reward. Our purpose is to avoid punishment, like trained like animals. We are not free. If there is punishment, we will not do something. If there is a reward, we will do something. But think of this situation where you are convinced that there is no God, there is no heaven, there is no hell, there is no rebirth. This life is that there is, if this is the life that is there at all, will you be able to do good things still? But if you are a free man, if you know why you should do good things, why you should be a moral person, even if there is no reward, even if there is no punishment, you will be able to do the same good things still, which means you are in control. You are not controlled by the promise of reward. You are not controlled by the fear of punishment. You are controlled by your own reason. You do something because you know this is the right thing to do. You do not do something because you know it is wrong to do. And if someone questions you, why did you do this? Why did you not do this? You have your own reasons to say, which means you have set a law for yourself and you are willing to discuss it with others so that others can criticize you and you are willing to improve. Isn't that good? Isn't that beautiful? Being in control of ourselves. We do good, we become good human beings, not because someone wants us to be good, because we know it is better, it is good to be doing good. And that doesn't end there. When we have many good people of that nature in the society would transform. The whole world will get transformed. So the purpose of learning philosophy, as far as I understand, is to enable you, is to train you in philosophizing. And what is philosophizing? Philosophizing is a practice, an art, where you would approach presuppositions, beliefs, opinions, practices, concepts with a critical nature of mind. You would subject all these to rational analysis. You would accept what is sound. You would reject what is not rationally sustainable. And that would make you a responsible individual. That would make you a free individual, one who is in control of oneself. I think, broadly speaking, this is the purpose of philosophy. Or this is what we get after doing philosophy. And why should I do this? Why should I be doing good? Why should I be a good human being? Because ultimately, we all want to be happy. We want a peaceful, peaceful, happy life. We want to flourish. We want to bloom. And that is possible when we are peaceful, when we are happy. Right? You have a lot of money, as we said in the morning. You have a lot of wealth. You have good health. But then that in itself would not make you satisfied. These are elements that are required to make you happy. And philosophizing or being good, assisted by the art of philosophizing, would make you happy, satisfied in life, will make you peaceful, will help you in your well-being, would help you to flourish in life. And that it doesn't end again, that doesn't end with you as an individual. That would slowly get channelized into the society. People would look at you, they will transform. You yourself being transformed is a force of change in the society. So again, ultimately speaking, philosophizing, or the purpose of philosophy, is to transform society and transform the world by transforming oneself.